Hey, welcome to another episode of the Get More Students podcast. I'm your co-host, Alex Asher, CEO of LearnCube.
And I'm Herbert Gerzer, founder of herbertgerzer.com.
And in this episode, we're talking about 5 SEO myths that are stopping your education website from ranking on Google. We know this is a very important topic. I know how important SEO is for our business at LearnCube. If you're unaware, LearnCube provides a virtual classroom and online school software for language and tutoring businesses. And SEO and organic traffic is our number one source of leads.
Really?
And we pay nothing for it. So it's totally transformed my business. It's actually transformed our business because some of our competitors have used really bad tactics. And while we were almost neck and neck from our organic reach initially, we saw they just fell off the face of Google basically because of a lot of bad mistakes. And so I know how important Google is for our business, and I know how important it is for every business on the planet, because if you get this right, this is your free traffic. This is the golden goose. And I think it's a fantastic thing for us to talk about, particularly for education businesses where margins are important. So any lead you don't have to pay for is a much more profitable, much better qualified, and a much more exciting lead and a customer. So definitely looking forward to helping the customers that we have from LearnCube also listening in.
I mean, is there anything better than free? And I mean, on the paid side, our digital advertising agency deals with running paid ad campaigns for language and education businesses. But it is so important for these education companies to have a strong organic presence online. So SEO is not one of our kind of expert topics. So I'm so glad that we have a special guest here today to impart some valuable wisdom.
That's right. We have Sandy Allain, who is an SEO expert specializing in education. So this isn't just anyone ordinary. This is somebody that's been specializing in SEO for education and travel businesses. He has 20 years experience. And just to put that in context, he was starting to tinker with SEO and really actually provide expertise 2 or 3 years after Google was started. So in early 2000s. So
wow.
He's a person that really understands how SEO is transformed, has changed. He knows what black hat looks like and what great SEO looks like. So I'm really, really glad that we've got somebody with that expertise. And I'm looking forward to this topic. Sandy, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome, Sandy.
Thank you for having me here. Nice to be here.
Absolutely. So tell me what that was like. I'm totally fascinated. What did SEO even look like? Actually, start with a simple question. A lot of people hear SEO. What is SEO?
SEO is basically, like, if I can put it in a short phrase, it's like how to help your website get on the top of Google, basically.
Perfect.
Like how to rank your website in Google.
Okay, so if you want to get your website on the front page of Google, this is the talk you need to be listening into.
Yeah.
And so what was that like, trying to get into the top of those search rankings in the early days, and maybe take us through what's changed?
Well, in the early days, it was so much easier. I mean, in a way, because like you just maybe put a bunch of links to your website and then you rank number 1. Like you put links anywhere on a even website we have not related to the industry. Like it was a link game. Like the one who has more links will.
Yeah.
So it was a fight. People working black like bad websites to get a bunch of links. Like you had directories or the website was only purpose to put links on. So then you can rank it was a different time.
Yeah.
And around like 2000, I think it was 2007 or 8, I forgot, was like the big Google update, Penguin, when you had like, they stop all of this. Look, you stop spamming my search engine, basically. And then it become, Google got smart. I mean, even now it's getting smarter every year, but now it's a lot more, it's a lot of more work, basically. But not, before was very easy to get number 1 in Google, but also you had much less people. Like, if you think about it, like, now we're all online, but in 1998 was like, starting to get popular, like, to be online. But now everybody's online, but before it was like less customers.
Yeah.
So
It almost reminds me of a story. I remember looking into how even Google literally was trying to beat humans at Go. And then before that, we were looking to beat computers in chess. And then the program got better than humans ever could. And I feel that Google might have been that same thing. Like, humans are like, haha, bet Google again. And then 2008, Google stopped getting beaten by people that were trying to hack the system. And people had to sort of play nice and play to the rules that Google was setting. Is that sort of an accurate analogy, I think, for what happened?
Still today, but not less, because a lot of people were trying to beat the game. They got kicked out, basically, of Google. Google, of doing SEO, because now it takes more time, and you have to be not smarter, but think about your users, create better content. It's not about tweaking the system.
Yeah.
In a way. It's more about doing quality work. Like have a good website.
That sounds terrible. So we'll actually have to create good content.
Work.
Gosh, so much work.
Yeah, it's not about tweaking anymore. It's about like bringing quality. If I can put it this way.
That's so good. And actually, when we were talking about this previously, it was really what got us onto this idea of myths. Like Herbert, particularly myself, like we have these myths about how do we get to the front page of Google. I've got my wife saying, I always click on LearnCube whenever I see it, and it, fantastic, thank you. But Google isn't as easy to trick as it used to be in those early days. And so we're going to be talking about some myths. We've got 5 that we definitely want to spend some time on. So you're going to be hearing about, and you might also resonate with this if you're listening in, SEO doesn't work. No, SEO actually works really fast, and you can get really fast results if you do, X technique. Posting blogs is going to improve your SEO. All you need to do is blog. Putting lots of keywords improves your page ranking. And like the only position that matters on Google is number 1, or you get nothing. And I think these are all myths that I think deserve to be busted, which is why we have our champion mythbuster, you, Sandy, helping us with them. And so I'm going to put the first myth out there. SEO doesn't work, Sandy. Tell me why you think that's a myth.
It does work, but again, if you do it the correct way. If you try to trick Google, right, it's gonna, as you were saying before, catch you in the back.
Yeah.
Excuse, guy, I'm French. English is not my native language. So anyway, the thing is like SEO still work if you do it the correct way. And also, there was like a myth, like people think like local SEO doesn't work either. Does work, because Google even is targeting more people do local SEO, because he wants to target people, like, for example, if you have a school in a small town and you have not very much competition, it's going to be much easier to rank than if you're like in a big city and you've got like 1,000, like hundreds of schools. And also
just
Google
to clarify that.
Sorry.
To clarify that, Sandy, if you are maybe you're a small tutoring agency, I don't know, in a rural, smaller village in France, or maybe just a smaller city in France. I think a lot of these smaller companies or smaller cities feel, I'm never going to be able to beat these big companies.
Yeah.
They're too big, and they always are still at the top of Google. And that's not actually because the big companies are better, but often because the small companies aren't doing anything to help Google find them as well. So is that what you're kind of suggesting, is that local SEO is really important and can really transform a lot of these businesses, but they do need to do things the right way?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, that's what I was talking before. Like, you need to focus, for example, if you're like, you want to get some students locally, you can start with this. It's going to be much easier to rank. And then after you can go for the more difficult keywords, more difficult terms for SEO to to compete with the competitors. But what you cannot, like a lot of people make the mistake, I'm going to be number one in, I don't know, learn
English
in London, you know.
Learn English in France.
Learn English in France, or you know, something like that. So it's going to be almost impossible. It's even there's even something I want to say. You don't want to, because imagine you have a school in, I don't know, Plymouth or a small town in the UK, and you don't have customers in London. Why you need to be number one in learn English? Yeah. It's not interesting for you. I mean, you don't need it. Yeah. It's like number one in people like cooking, or I don't know. Yeah. It's like you don't need to be number one. So focus on your market and then expand. But
that makes sense.
Those work.
So it does work, and the way to start is to start with a core focus, I guess, and rank really well for the keywords and for the search terms that really matter to your business. Is that how you would frame it?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And so what does good SEO look like then? Because I think maybe you're kind of alluding to it. It works if you do it right. What does right look like?
Right would look like, first think about your market, your customers, like create good content, optimize your website, meaning by having a good way to navigate your website. It's very easy to navigate through different pages. People don't get lost when they come on your page. Have your page load fast. Like, you know, now it has become even more important with the latest Google update. It's the user experience first, and then after you can think about that. Should I put maybe this keyword there, because I know people are looking for this term, and my site is just about this, so it's perfect. So then you can work like before. To summarize it in a way, like before, like SEO was like, you do SEO, then you think about the customers. But now it's more, you think about the customers, and you do SEO. It's like the other way around. Just to summarize it.
Yeah. But, what I really like about that is you should be doing it that way anyway. I know that we've even been thinking about it ourselves with the LearnCube website. If you try to focus on keywords, Google doesn't care. But just as a business owner myself, and when I look at my website, I look at things like bounce rate, which means basically do people come to my website and immediately leave it? I don't want that to happen on my website anyway, but Google really cares about that, and it's tracking those sorts of things. So it makes sense that you don't create content that makes people feel like, oh, you got me, but I don't want to be here. I'm out. So that's why like good content obviously makes a lot of sense, because if you make everything you do is great, but the content sucks, people are still going to bounce as soon as they can, as soon as they realize that actually this is a bad page for me.
Something I want to add also, it has become very more important in the past years. It's like, in a way, if you think, it's like a lot of competition. And so everyone is competing for the same term, the same business. Customers are lost in a way. But a good trick is like if you focus on a niche, like I'm going to be teaching English in one town, or I'm going to be teaching business English, pronunciation, or like something very specific for like a specific customer. It works very well. Then you can expand, of course. You can do other things, but sometimes it really works when you focus on a specific, like a niche.
Yeah.
Niche has become very important.
I was just about to say that actually, Alex. I mean, we always talk about defining your niche audience, and I think it's more important than ever to really hone in on your target audience and create content that is targeted towards them and their the keywords that they're searching for. You know, it's not enough to learn English online and have a keyword like that. I mean, everyone wants to rank for that, but prepare for your IELTS exam online, or get a 7+ on your IELTS exam using these strategies. You know, just really honing in on that.
And also pointing out, like, just thinking about this now, like, also if you focus on learn English online or any keywords with learn English, do it in the language of your customers. Because I've seen a lot of websites teaching English in the UK, and they don't have the website in French, Spanish. It's like your customer are going there to learn your language. So how do you expect them, unless if they're like, you're selling like advanced level, like, if you have a advanced English level, you can look, but if you have like low intermediate, like something like that, it's better you have your website in French, Spanish, and your target market. But a lot of people forget about this, which is
I didn't know that tip, Sandy. And I think also in my own kind of, in my head as a native English speaker, which is actually, I'm interesting, because as a native English speaker, you're just like, I'll just put it all in English. And it also feels like a really big investment to put your website into a different language. But you don't have to translate every single part of your website to be effective, do you, Sandy? Are there any intermediate steps that you could do that would improve your ranking for a particular language? So if I know that all of my customers actually are from Latin America, Spanish Latin America, I mean, again, it makes sense that my website would then be in Spanish, but would you focus on the landing page, like at least a specific landing page in Spanish, or would you do the entire website in Spanish?
Well, it depends how much you want to rank, how many keywords you want to rank.
Yeah.
In a way, it's like, I would say the website. It's good maybe to have a landing page if you want to like say to them, look, maybe they understand English, they can look at the website and they see a landing page in Spanish. Okay, so I can see the basic, what's going on, and so it's still it's good, but it won't help you for like, for your SEO. Or if you only want to do SEO in that language, you need to have all your pages in that language.
Yeah, because I think the myth I have is that Google automatically does this beautiful translation of my entire website, and so I don't lose any of that SEO juice. But that's actually a myth, isn't it, from what you're telling me, Sandy?
Yes, a myth. I mean, Google have a very good platform. So it's not bad just to be able to understand what's going on the page and like on the website, to understand the main idea. But if you can look at it, it doesn't translate the best way. I mean, it has got better in the year.
Yeah.
And even more for us, like we're working in the education industry. Yeah. If you have a website in Spanish, French with grammar mistakes,
not a good look.
It looks very good.
Yeah.
That's fascinating, because I just think of all of the websites I've seen, and I've seen probably at least hundreds and probably thousands of education-based websites over the last 5 years or so. They're all optimized for the advanced English teacher or English student, right? Because they're all in perfect English. Everything is in English. Everything is about, but their whole website is like, come and learn English, which now I'm like, that doesn't make much sense at all if I'm actually going after beginners, not advanced.
Well, the smart language schools have translated their websites and have dedicated landing pages for each market. I know it's a huge time and investment, but if Latin America, if Russian-speaking market are one of your target audiences, then it does pay off.
Even from a user perspective, I didn't realize how wrong I was until listening to you now, Sandy. But if I was, let's say, Russian, and I go to, again, I'm in the UK, so I go to, Oxford, learn English here kind of thing, and everything's in perfect English, which I can't understand, and terrible Russian. And then there's another website that maybe looks terrible, but it's all understandable. It's all perfectly culturally appropriate for me in Russia. That would probably be a lot more attractive, regardless of how much money this other, Russian-based website has put into it. I would probably feel a lot more comfortable and confident that, hey, this is a person that really will understand me as a person, and as a Russian, maybe coming to Oxford to learn English. So I think it's a really interesting topic and a big myth that I didn't really realize I was falling into the trap of.
A lot of people do that.
Thank goodness.
A lot of schools and businesses do this. you know.
Okay, all right.
It's time to translate the LearnKey website.
I'm almost embarrassed already. But anyway, I'm quite excited. We've got a team full of different languages, so I'm sure we can do this. Let's work on this. So the first one was that SEO doesn't work, and I love that little bonus myth of that you can do everything in English and expect that SEO will work just as well in other languages. Myth has been busted. Let's work on the second myth though, which is SEO works really fast. If you know how to hack your way through Google, it won't take long at all. If you give me some money, Sandy, you might have had bad acting competitors that have said, look, you give me $2,000 a month and I'll get you to the top of Google within 3 months. That kind of thing. Is that the kind of stuff you've heard as well, Sandy?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, people want results, which it's understandable. They want results fast, but it doesn't work this way. Even sometimes I tell clients, look, it's like marketing, like even if you pay the best marketer, like you have a marketing department in your business, you expect them, okay, I'm just hire like 5 people and they're gonna get results in 2 days. It doesn't work this way. It takes some time. Call clients, do some prospection, and maybe not in our industry. I mean, we work in different industry, but it takes time, like marketing.
Yeah.
So how do you expect SEO to be the same? It doesn't work. It's not like that. Even, I'm sure like PPC, like Herbert was going to talk, or social media, everything takes time.
It's sort of like, I mean, again, apologies for being Mr. Metaphor, but it does, from what you're telling me, it does sound like, again, like, would I buy a house? And they said, look, I just got this beautiful house, everything you want. It only took me 2 days. But I'm going to give you 10% off, so it's only 400,000 rather than 5, whatever. Would you like to buy it? I'll be like, hell no, I'm not going to buy a house that's been 2 days just to get, to build it. It's probably going to fall down as soon as there's a strong breeze. And so maybe it's the same. We're coming in with some really problematic expectations because actually we want something that's taken a bit of time because it's probably going to last if you put in the foundations. So what are some of the black hat tactics that you're familiar with, mainly so that we can avoid those, right? Like, how do we? What are the common scams that you've seen, Sandy, that actually really probably damage the SEO sector, right? It'll be things like using Fiverr, I'm assuming, to get links. Is there any other examples you've seen?
Oh my God, the Fiverr, it's just the thing, like you don't even do it to your worst enemy. It's like, Fiverr is like, we can buy for $5 maybe 2,000 links, which is the worst mistake ever. It's the worst mistake even, but Google, like nowadays, like even you want to do something against your competitor, which is like, I don't advise to do this, but it doesn't work anymore. Even Google knows, okay, it's like, this guy got 2,000 links last month. But if you do it every month, like Google can tell like you're the one doing it or you're not, so it doesn't work. Before people like actually buy links, content, or like even since like before we were talking about like doing SEO with different languages. Even you take the text from Google, translate it, or it's bad translation, then here I put some content. Or even, these kind of techniques, even they used to work before. Some techniques used to work. But now it's like a big no.
Yeah. So definitely, don't buy into that myth of SEO works really fast and that these black hat techniques work. So then what sort of link building does work, Sandy, to kind of put it on its head?
Link building that does work. It's like when you get quality links from all the related websites. Mm-hmm. Emphasize on related, because if you get links from a travel website, education website, from people like who are actually your customer going on those websites.
Yeah. And
then from there you get a link. It can be like on a resource page, like someone talking like you can visit XYZ to go to this website, or here are the top places like to learn like your language, and you have your link like in a post.
Yeah.
It can be a guest post. So I'm going to talk about afterward. You have basically it's like quality links, like links that can bring you visitors to your website.
So they're links from websites where you would actually expect your customers to hang out, right?
Yeah, correct.
Is that a good way of sort of describing it?
That's what I mean.
So you don't need lots of people from a gaming website to go to your education company. That's probably not going to help.
Yeah. Spam. You do the opposite.
Excellent.
And you won't even bring the customers that you want.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I really like, and you said it before, Sandy, was just stop trying to trick Google and really focus on attracting the right users. Now, that's totally your words, Sandy, from before. So let's go straight into our third myth. Blogging. Posting blogs will immediately improve your SEO. That's the myth.
That's all you have to do, right?
Sandy. Bust it for us, Sandy.
Yeah, blogging. Blogging. But actually, it's like what I was saying before, like content is very important. And blogging is in a way, because it's a way to put content on your website. But you really have to put content that are useful for your users, and also think about the keywords that you're going to promote, for example, which is actually very good. It's like if you think about it, like your main pages on your website, you focus on the buying keywords, like people putting Spanish courses in Madrid, or prices page, or learn English in all these keywords where people are like looking to buy something. And then on your blog, there's people looking for like, why do you need to learn English? Actually not, but what do you need to learn Spanish, or how can you like do business in Latin America with the intermediate Spanish level, or all these kind of like topics. Then you're trying to help your customers. It's going to bring you some indirect like visitors who are not people looking to buy now, but then they can know you a little bit better, and the day they want to buy something, they come back to you. So blogging, it helps you because it's more content on your website. It gets you more keywords, more traffic. This traffic go back to your main pages, and it's a circle. Like if you have more traffic, then you're going to rank better all the keywords on your main terms, basically.
Nice.
And so the main nuance there is not that blogging doesn't work. Blogging does work, but it doesn't by blogging alone. Like if you blog to nobody and are not helping your customers, that is not useful for you in any way. It doesn't mean, it means it's very unlikely people will link to you, and it's very unlikely that you'll be attracting more of the kinds of buyers and the kinds of customers that you actually want. Have I got that nuance right, Sandy? So
yeah, it's correct. But it's actually, I can talk a little bit more about it because there's more things behind it. But basically, this is the main points.
Yeah. What about guest blogging? Again, it's another myth I've sort of at least accumulated. Like, if I get on lots of other people's blogs, that's the way for me to get to the top of Google.
It's like all SEO techniques, like I was talking about before, like all SEO techniques that people try to like trick Google, and so let's do link building, let's do a lot of links, and now it doesn't work anymore. And after a new technique came along, and now you have this one, like guest blogging. It still works, but if you do it the correct way, like if you don't put a guest post on an unrelated blog, or you put it on a blog where there's a lot of guest posts, which is a bit like suspicious. It's like articles from other people buying. It looks like a website people are buying to get links. But if you do it in a way that it brings value, it's still good to go guest posting.
I wonder if a way to think about it is more about content partnerships. So would I be willing, would my kind of customers be on this website firstly? If the answer is yes, that sounds like a good partner. So it sounds like you're really looking for things where I would do the guest blog anyway, because I feel like I could help the users on this particular website.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. The idea after the fifth point, but basically we just, if you think about like users, then you're okay. Like stop trying to like trick Google, and it's not gonna work. And Google is getting smarter every day. And even if you think of a best way, look, I've got a new trick, a new technique that I can trick Google. Oh, maybe it's gonna work for a month or two, and then Google is gonna go back, and you're gonna get penalized. So if you start thinking about this way, and if you do it the correct way, then you will never get penalized. You will always go up in Google and no problem.
Yeah. Makes sense. And just a word of warning, if you were thinking of kind of going the fast and hacky way, I know that there were two competitors that were alongside with LearnCube, and they were penalized back, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. They are miles behind us in SEO ranking because they were so badly punished by Google for doing the black hat stuff. Yeah, and it must have killed their business. I mean, if you're having to pay for every single lead, it's a really expensive business. And so I think it was just a really good word of warning that you're better to either do nothing than to do something bad or fast and reckless, because getting punished by Google, there's no one you can just tap on the shoulder to say, hey, sorry, we had a misunderstanding. No, they're going to put a big black X on you for a number of years. So definitely a word of warning. Don't do it. So
you can go to like the Google disallow link. It's like a page, and you can say like, I'm sorry, I put a link on that page. Can you like, don't count it? But then if you do it too much, like, then it's going to be difficult to go back to recover, but you can, but everyone, I'll just say something, everyone makes mistakes. I mean, if you have, like maybe you done some bad link building in the past for like a week, let me try this, and I'm like, and then you stop. I mean, it's okay. Everyone makes mistakes,
but if you've been trying to hack it for a couple of years, Google doesn't take too kindly, and it's hard to undo that. So we've talked about posting blogs as a myth, but also a nuanced one. It can really work for your SEO as long as you do it the right way. Let's talk about myth 4, which is putting lots of keywords improves your page ranking. So if you put all the keywords, you find them all, you're like, and just sprinkle them like like chocolate chips throughout your website. It's going to help Google know that you're the page for that particular keyword. What are your thoughts on that one, Sandy?
Yeah. Again, I mean, it used to work like 1998, but now it's like a spam. It doesn't work anymore. But because now you've got the Google search intent. So basically, when someone is looking for something, there are different terms to look for. Like if they look for like French classes, French courses, French school, it's the same thing more or less. So now the goal is to like have your page talk about these 2-3 terms, different related terms. So it's not about the keyword anymore, it's about the topic. So if you talk about, I'm going to talk about like on my courses page, and I put classes, I put courses, I put programs. It's like synonyms, but if you, again, I'm always saying this all the time, if you do it correctly, but if you like write naturally good content, those words are going to come naturally.
Yeah.
So you really have to focus on you can put keywords, like I'm not saying like stop doing SEO, like, because SEO is keywords, like basically it's like people are looking for something in Google, they type keywords. So you still need to work on the keywords aspect. But you have to put it in a different way. You have to, like, in a smart way, like useful for users.
Yeah.
For example, in the past, it was like, I'm going to put the keyword on that page. No. You put it if you think it goes with the title, or it's okay, or it looks natural.
Yeah.
Has to have relevance.
I think it sort of makes sense from the evolution of Google in a way, because if Google knows how long people spend on a page, if you write for a machine, then a human reading it won't like it. They'll be like, this feels awkward. I'm going to go to the next website. So you're not actually helping yourself, because you've helped Google find you, but you haven't kept the human engaged and listening and reading into your content. I think it's a really, definitely something to keep in mind. One little story I have as well is even on our website, I actually noticed that you can use synonyms. It is worthwhile looking at which keywords will have the most traffic. I think that is something that's worth people listening in here to consider. As an example, virtual classroom is a very important keyword for LearnCube, whereas online classroom, very similar, it's almost the same word, actually doesn't have nearly the same amount of traffic. So there are some nuances where you do want to think about which keywords you're optimizing for and being quite consistent with all of your writing, which again can help quite a lot. So tell me a little bit more about what's the point in, so keywords, just to clarify again, Sandy, is where people are putting in a search term. And that search term is a phrase, usually not just one word, but can often be a bunch of words put together, right? So you're not just putting in 2-word keywords. You might think about what are some of the other long tail keywords? Like, what is a long tail keyword? Do you want to tell us a bit about that, just so people can almost familiarize?
Keyword, it's actually the only thing still, even today, like I was talking before about the focus on a niche, it's very important. Long tail keywords, it's where you can get results much faster.
Okay. So just an example, maybe correct me if I'm wrong here, Sandy. So if it was LearnCube, it would be like, I could put virtual classroom, like that's a keyword. Mm-hmm. But if it's a long tail keyword, I might say virtual classroom or online classroom made for teaching and tutoring, or online classroom made for teaching students with dyslexia. Like, that could come very fluidly in my blog post or in my words, but obviously that's a much longer keyword. Fewer people are going to put those exact words in Google, but those that do are much more likely to be looking for that particular thing.
Correct, but you don't put it on your main pages because you're gonna focus on that. Like I was talking before with the page and the blog. Maybe it can be something you do for the blog.
Yeah.
Like how can dyslexia can help you with virtual classrooms, and then you redirect it to, like, you put a link to the main page. So the blog is a good way to stick in, like, to put all the keywords you find, like, oh, maybe I should talk about this or that and this, you know.
Okay,
so
great.
A good little trick. But
that makes sense.
Sandy.
Not a trick, but good.
A trick.
I wouldn't say a trick, but trick is not bad if it's a good trick. I
can see you're nervous about Google listening to you, Sandy. You're like, oh, sorry, Google.
Sorry, Google. No.
Sandy, I see a lot of websites that put keywords, a bunch of keywords, like I'm talking 10, 20 keywords in the footer of their website. Is that still a thing? Is that still a strategy?
Oh my God, no.
No, not. I didn't think so.
No, it's not anymore. No way.
I've got a related question. Oh, I'm finding some good myths to bust. What about at the footer? You can often have blogs or and they might even be those long tail keywords. Is that a problem if it links to actually proper content? So let's say, again, virtual classroom for tutoring dyslexia. So something like that. I'm not going to put that in my headers because not many people are looking for that, and it would diminish the overall usability of my web page. But does that help, or even does it hinder if we have kind of quite a large footer or with links to blog posts that might be keywords as well?
I'm going to use here like a technical term. It's like called link juice in a way, like, you know, it's the term in the industry. It's like if you have your own page which has an authority, and then you put in a lot of links to like 30 different pages, then you're losing like authority on your main page in a way. It's dividing all the authority, so you have to do like categories, like tutoring for virtual classroom. I don't know how you.
No, in education, particularly teaching.
Different, like, you know, like activities, courses, location, like different things, like separate in a way. Then you have like a pyramid. Like when you think about your links on your website, do it like in a pyramid. So people can like search the main, get an idea from your business, and then they can go deeper. And then when you go deeper, you put a long tail.
Okay, that makes sense.
You look at it this way. So you go down and like this way.
And you call it link juice, is that right?
Link juice, like when you get links from other website. I don't know why it's called this way, but it's like a technical term.
Link juice. Learn something new every day.
That's a great word.
You can look it up online.
Okay. So just to summarize, you want to have your web page be very focused on one or two keywords, do you think? Your homepage?
One or two keywords. On your home page is like an exception. Okay. Home page, like it's done by itself, like the home page, and then the rest of the website.
Okay, but the idea is you want to be very focused. Don't try and dilute your website by having loads of almost competing keywords.
Yeah, because Google won't know. Does he want to rank for this keyword? I mean, is it talking about this or that?
Yeah.
So you're getting Google confused. So if you tell Google, look, this page is about my classrooms.
Yeah.
This page is about my activities. This page is about my timetable. I don't know. Different things. So Google will know what's your how you call this, like
what do you identify it? They want to know, what are you mainly known for? And if you're a wish-wash of everything, it's hard for you to rank on anything, and it's also even hard for the user, I imagine.
Yeah.
Because then the user also is like, I'm confused. Are you for this or that?
Yeah, for sure.
Makes a lot of sense. So we've gone through blog. We've talked now about keywords. There's another myth that lots of keywords improves your page rank, which it doesn't without doing it the right way. The last myth is it's only number one on Google that matters. Like, what's your view on how far up Google's ranking do you need to be useful to you as a business?
Well, when you're looking for when you're looking to buy something, you like to compare with different companies. So basically, it's important, of course, to be on the first page. Yeah. Because usually people don't go on the second page, and after you forget about it. But on the first page, if you're on the first maybe 5, 6, even we say the first 3, but the traffic, in a way, goes down more. Like if you're number 1, you're going to get most of the traffic. Then you're going down by the positions.
Yeah.
But people also will look if they're if they're looking for, to make a decision, they're going to look at the first 5 websites, the first 3 websites. They're going to compare. It depends with different industries, but usually they like to compare different companies. Even for the price, if it's more expensive, they would take a little bit more time to compare a lot more. But
that's definitely the case for the language travel, for the language travel industry. I mean, no one just clicks on the first link and that's it. They want to see the different schools, what courses they offer, the activities, the accommodation, everything.
So I think maybe a way of also helping our listeners is also think about the pages you can rank on that first page, because there's no point in you constantly trying to go with all of your might and effort onto keywords that you will never rank for. Like learn English, big term, you'll never rank for it in the top page. So much better to spend a lot more time and effort, and maybe the initial start of your SEO strategy is localization. So learn English in Portsmouth, and that's the one that you do. Is that right, Sandy? What would you say?
Correct.
I mean, wow. I must be learning, Sandy. I've got some.
Yeah, you're learning.
Look, I actually think.
I like you doing the translation afterwards. You're taking my point. And then you put it in a different angle, but it's good.
Yeah, that's good, Sandy. Because look, I really have learned a lot, Herbert. I'm sure you feel the same.
Definitely. always trying to give our clients tips on SEO. So now I have even more to share with them.
Absolutely. And just on that, Sandy, where can people find you?
People can find me on my website, languageschoolseo.com, a website where I give advice and tips for people who want to do SEO themselves or SEO on their own.
Right, so that's languageschoolseo.com.
Correct.
Brilliant. I mean, I've learned a ton already, and I can definitely vouch for Sandy as a very genuine person and really loves helping people, particularly in the language and travel industry. And Herbert, where can our audience find you?
Of course, on my website, herbertgozer.com. If you are a language school or education business and need some support with your paid ad strategy, particularly on Facebook and Instagram, then feel free to book a strategy call.
Awesome. I know that your customers are very happy. So make sure you book that in. And if you're interested in an all-in-one solution for your language school or your tutoring business, then please check us out at www.learncube.com, CUBE.com. It's my Kiwi accent coming out there. But anyway, please also subscribe to our podcast. We can't wait to see you again. And thanks very much for listening in. Cheers.
Catch you on the next one.